When Airbnb emerged and soared in popularity, many believe this was a disruptive moment in the tourism and lodging market. The apocalypse of the hotel industry seemed imminent, at least to some people, as it would now be possible to rent an endless array of rooms, regardless of location, often for a much lower price than a traditional hotel room. However, as the years passed, the initial euphoria around Airbnb began to dissipate, changing to a series of concerns about the challenges and problems that arose, even affecting the reputation and viability of the platform's business model. Issues such as growing safety concerns, reports of problematic rentals, and misleading advertisements of accommodations became increasingly common, leading customers to question the reliability of the Airbnb method.
We are at our Airbnb and we think there's a camera in the light bulb.
Moreover, the pandemic period was a very hard blow to the tourism industry in general, which also affected the demand for accommodations, both through Airbnb and traditional hotel chains. Yet, while the enthusiasm for the new business model seemed to have passed, hotel groups remain as strong as ever, and the apocalypse for them simply never arrived. Thus, what started as a revolution in the way people travel and lodge has turned into a more complex and challenging story for Airbnb. Airbnb is not dead, nor dying, but certainly the platform no longer means what it did a few years ago when it was at its peak. So why didn't Airbnb simply finish with traditional hotels? Why do many people still trust more in hotel rooms? And does Airbnb actually compete with hotels? Or was it all just an illusion? Finding a hotel for vacation away from home has never been exactly easy. The diversity of options, the search for a balance between comfort and cost, and the specific needs of each family make choosing accommodation a challenging process. Traditional hotel services offer a range of advantages that continue to attract travelers. Hotels with higher ratings provide a more refined experience, with options like room service, daily cleaning, gym, on-site restaurants, and outdoor areas with a swimming pool. Additionally, the strategic location of many hotels provides easy access to prime areas of cities and local attractions. These elements, when harmonized, elevate the guest's experience, providing comfort and convenience. Everything a family needs to enjoy their vacation without any worries. However, the emergence of platforms like Airbnb has sparked a true revolution in the dynamics of the lodging market, offering consumers a significantly more flexible and personalized approach to planning their stays, which has won over many tourists who previously felt trapped by expensive hotel rates. In contrast to traditional hotels, Airbnb presents a wide range of options that go beyond conventional rooms, offering experiences that range from modern urban apartments to authentic countryside homes. With the market becoming more flexible, consumers have started to live new lodging experiences, now more aligned with their preferences and lifestyle. But the advantages of such platforms extend beyond the type of lodging. After all, staying at an Airbnb is most of the time much cheaper than in a conventional hotel. And speaking of flexibility, Airbnb is the perfect example of how various types of stays can cater to different types of travelers. For instance, most hotels do not offer rooms large enough for bigger groups of travelers, like large families or friends traveling together, making the group have to pay for more than one room. Airbnb fills this gap by providing a variety of options, from spacious houses to complete apartments at a much more affordable price than a hotel room. The platform, which originated in 2008, has already surpassed several hotel chains in terms of popularity and market share. Data from a consultancy highlights the impact of Airbnb, which currently has over 6 million properties available worldwide. This number represents an impressive slice, even larger than the spots offered by 3 of the giant hotel chains, Marriott, Hilton, and IHG. Yet, despite being a robust competitor, Airbnb is far from threatening the hotel industry. Contrary to what it seems at first glance, the significant growth of the platform does not necessarily represent an imminent threat to hotels, which continue to operate at satisfactory levels of accommodation, growth, and occupancy rates. So the question remains, what is happening with the platform and why has it not been able to consolidate itself as the #1 option for travelers? Airbnb has created the opportunity for anyone to earn extra income by listing a complete property or just a room for rent for a few days. An Airbnb host can earn an average of $14,000 per year from their property. Another characteristic of Airbnb is the sharing of spaces. The cultural exchange between hosts and tourists goes beyond simply lodging. It involves sharing experiences, opinions, and even insights about the local life of the visited area. This enriching exchange is more difficult to occur in traditional hotels, and it is definitely one of the attractions of the platform. Even so, it's hard to ignore the consumer criticism the platform has been facing, mainly due to the constant increase in daily rates. This is because airlines and hotels have raised their fares after the low years caused by the pandemic, a period when the tourism market practically came to a halt, which has also influenced Airbnb's prices. The resumption of tourist activities and the growing demand for accommodations have generated additional pressure on prices, directly impacting the experience of Airbnb users. Moreover, the platform has also been target of complaints related to tourist safety. There are numerous reports of tourists discovering hidden cameras in their accommodations, disguised in everyday objects like smoke detectors, outlet chargers, or other seemingly harmless devices. In 2019, a family from New Zealand traveling to Norway rented an Airbnb and discovered a hidden camera in the living room that was broadcasting the family's activities live. They even called the property's host, but were again surprised when he hung up the phone without providing explanations or solutions. The incident occurred 5 years ago. However, similar situations are still recurring and difficult to investigate, as privacy invasion through micro cameras is hard to detect. Airbnb, in response to these concerns, says it has technological systems to prevent any type of fraud. Moreover, the platform requires detailed registration of hosts and users, including the confirmation of identity information as an additional security measure. But this still doesn't mean that a listing is reliable. Some travelers report difficulty in verifying the authenticity of the photos published on the site, which are often beautified and captured from the best angle to make the accommodation appear better than it really is. Practically a Big Mac ad effect. The result is that guests' expectations may not match the reality when they arrive at the location, which ends up being at least frustrating. Old properties, broken furniture, and lack of hygiene and cleanliness are some of the frequent complaints travelers have faced when booking accommodations on Airbnb. While the options are numerous, which can be a positive point, on the other hand, the lack of standardization and minimum requirements in accommodations can result in unpleasant experiences. Establishing guidelines that ensure a minimum of comfort and safety to tenants has become a challenge that must be overcome for the platform to maintain a good reputation and satisfactory levels of trust among users. By establishing standards and simple measures, Airbnb can raise the quality of its accommodations and perhaps attract more demanding consumers. But is that enough for these people to prefer Airbnb over a classic hotel? The competition between Airbnb and traditional hotels is one of the reflections of the transformation that the lodging sector has been experiencing over the years. With the advent of new platforms, traditional hotels, which previously led without major issues, now face a heavyweight competitor that has already surpassed large hotel chains in numbers. But even with all the innovation and flexibility that Airbnb has brought, the reality is that different types of consumers have different preferences when it comes to lodging services. In the case of traditional hotels, they offer a broader range of amenities and standardized services, catering to an audience that values convenience and seeks peace of mind to relax. Moreover, the likelihood of surprises regarding the stay location and the actual appearance of the place is reduced, as it is possible to access information directly on official websites and even from booking agencies and review platforms. This predictability is an attractive factor for many travelers, who can trust in a more structured experience aligned with their expectations. The transparency provided by detailed information, official photos, and verified reviews is a positive point that is not always available in Airbnb listings, as these are up to the hosts. And with cities around the world banning Airbnb's short-term rentals in major centers, if you want to travel and stay downtown to do everything on foot without walking too much, the hotel is the solution. All these aspects count when planning a trip. After all, the security that a place offers in terms of quality, cleanliness, and reliability is crucial for guests' peace of mind. Still, it is undeniable that sites like Airbnb are here to stay and have forced the hotel industry to reinvent itself in some aspects. But it's unfair to compare the two equally. Those who seek out Airbnb probably want to experience living like a resident of a particular city or neighborhood for a short period. Those who prefer hotels are looking for convenience and security. with the assurance that there will always be someone willing to serve them or provide any kind of assistance, whether for information about the city, requesting additional services, or support in case of any mishaps during the stay. Therefore, they are distinct audiences with different goals, which proves that the price of the stay is not always the determining factor in this equation. Airbnb emerged from a simple idea of sharing spaces and has established itself as a lodging option competing with the traditional. However, it has faced operational challenges that expose the platform's vulnerabilities, showing that there is still much to learn. This means that, contrary to what many people thought during the Airbnb hype a few years ago, it is unlikely that the platform will completely replace hotels or be able to break the hotel industry. Now tell me, what kind of traveler are you? Do you prefer hotels or Airbnb? And did you also think that Airbnb was going to end the hotel industry back in the beginning? Leave a comment below. If you want to learn more about the rise and fall of Nokia, the biggest cell phone manufacturer of its time, and their insane fall, click on this video that's on screen right now. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. That's it for this video. Bye bye.